morning. My today's guest is Dr. Erik X. At the beginning, I would like to say something about him so that everyone can know who Dr. Erik X is. He holds a certificate of clinical competence from the American Speech Language Hearing Association and is a practicing speech language pathologist who works with school-age children and adolescents with various communication difficulties. He is currently an associate professor and clinical supervisor in the Department of Speech-Language Pathology at Monmouth University in West Long Branch, New Jersey, and is also a facilitator at Camp Shout Out, a Michigan-based summer camp for young people who stutter. Dr. Rai regularly presents interactive workshops demonstrating how speech-language pathologists can use mobile and internet-based technologies to educate and motivate school-age children and adolescents. In addition to developing over 25 mobile apps for children with communication difficulties, he is the creator of slpvideogames.com, a website that features a collection of online video games with built-in speech and language flashcards. Dr. Rai has obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in speech pathology and audiology from Stockton University in New Jersey, and a Master of Science degree in speech language pathology from Misericordia University in Pennsylvania. He earned his Doctor of Philosophy degree in Communication Sciences and Disorders at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, as a Thomas C. Ramble University Graduate Fellowship recipient, with additional support from the Kościuszko Foundation and the American Speech Language Hearing Foundation. Right? This is a lot of achievements and I admire it and your job. And today we will be talking about your look at the use of different methods in therapy, a bit about the work of a speech therapist, and about the Camp Shout Out. My first question is a request that brings all the interview in this series together, and it is how to become an effective clinician.
I believe that the most effective clinicians are the ones who truly want to get to know the person on a very real level early on into the therapeutic experience. Of course, I'm aware of the diagnosis, and of course, I have knowledge about how to assess and treat the disorder. But before I dig into some of that official diagnosis and disorder stuff, I want to know about the person. So for example, if it's a child, I want to know their favorite videos that they watch on YouTube. And I want to watch those videos with the child. And I want to have conversations about why do they love those videos? And I want to give the child the opportunity to share with me and to teach me about something that I might not be aware of. And I want to give that child opportunities to use their voice to share something that the child is passionate about. I want to give my undivided attention to that child, because in doing that, I'm getting to know who the person really is. I get to listen to the child, and in listening to the child, I'm also maybe hearing some of the communication struggles. And that gives me insight into how maybe we might proceed in therapy. So it all starts with getting to know the child first, and then getting a chance to know the diagnosis of the disorder.
This is beautiful, and I think that this is important not only in therapy, but throughout our lives. This question might as well sound how to become an effective human, I think.
Yes.
So thank you very much. And the second question is connected with your personality, because I met you during second edition of workshops LogoLab, Effective Intervention in Stuttering at my university. So the question is how to be such a positive person. Where is it coming from and how to work on it?
Yes. Broadly speaking, I believe that positivity is a choice. We as humans, we have the ability to look at all situations in a very specific way. I always try to look at all situations in a positive way. Most of the time, I'm successful at it, but not all the time. Like most things in life, the more we practice something, the better we get. For example, with positivity, maybe when it's raining outside, maybe our first instinct is to be sad or upset, maybe even angry. Maybe our default is to view that rainy situation as a negative. But for me and this rainy situation, when I catch myself in that negative mindset, I force myself to look at the plants and the trees. And from there, I can remind myself that the plants and the trees are getting the water that they need in order to keep growing. And what a great thing that is. Personally, the more I try to get into that mindset, all aspects of my life, it really starts to become more automatic.
I know, I agree with you, I understand, but I hope that you allow yourself to have bad days. But I think this is balance, life balance.
Yes, so true.
Great. Okay, next question is about modern technologies, your hobby, I think. How does the use of modern technologies in speech therapy look like?
I believe it is so important that all clinicians understand the power of 21st century technology. 21st century technology can be defined in many different ways. And the way that I define it in this response is like this: digital technology and internet-based technology. How are we infusing digital and internet-based experiences into our therapy sessions? Mobile devices such as our phone or our tablets very often have exciting apps on them. And sometimes these apps are games. Other times these apps allow us to take interesting and unique pictures. These types of apps can be used in therapy to create wonderful opportunities to connect and communicate with our clients. There are many websites on the internet that feature hilarious and appropriate videos and pictures. And these types of websites can be used in therapy to spark meaningful conversations with our clients. So what we need to do as clinicians is to be curious and to explore digital and internet-based technology, to see how these things can and should be infused in the therapeutic work that we do.
Right, and I think this is more important because this is more interesting for our clients. That not just a picture on a paper, but you can this mobile, this is something different, I think. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, and how does the use of humor in therapy look like?
In my opinion, building rapport is one of the most important things we need to do in therapy. Most of the time, when a client comes to us, they don't know us and we don't know them. We are complete strangers. So when we think about building rapport, we are being intentional with forming a real relationship. When people are strangers, they don't have a relationship, but a client and a clinician absolutely need one in order to find success. One of the ways we can build that relationship is through laughter, jokes, humor. For example, many years ago when I first started my career, I was working with a 13-year-old boy. This boy loved loud rock and roll music. And one day we were joking around. He said something like, "It would be so cool if you had a rock and roll haircut." And then I said something like, "If you keep trying your hardest in therapy, I will get a rock and roll haircut on the last day of school." And guess what? Months went by and that student was doing so well. I kept my end of the deal. On the last day of school, I got a rock and roll haircut where I shaved the sides of my head and I kept the top of the hair. Sometimes that's called a mohawk hairstyle. And that's humor. We laughed together, we smiled together. My hair triggered smiles, and that's communication. Those smiles create a sense of comfort, and you need to be comfortable in therapy. And this is why humor is important For most people, not all, for most people, humor creates comfort.
It was funny for me, so how it was funny for your clients?
Yes, yes.
I remember a similar situation from my school because my teacher gave my friend a huge jar of Nutella because he was passing the exam, and yeah, it was humor too.
I love it. Delicious.
Yeah. Okay. And next thing I would like to know is what is the role of the self-help groups? Important question.
Yes, yes. Self-help experiences allow our clients to see that they are not alone. Very often clients with communication challenges, they feel like they're the only individuals out there that have their specific communication challenge. But we as clinicians, we know that's not true. So instead of just telling them that's not true, we show them that's not true. When we try to set up self-help experiences for our clients, or when we let them know of certain self-help experiences in and around town or online, we're expanding their minds and we're expanding their friendship circles. And that last part is very important, friendship circles. Very often, self-help experiences connect people in very meaningful ways, and true friendships can form as a result of the self-help experiences. So that's beautiful. That's so important for our clients.
It's awesome. And such meetings must be very inspiring for them.
Yes.
Right, great, beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, this time for the last question. And it's about therapy in camp conditions. So what are the advantages for participants, therapists, and volunteers?
Therapy happening in camp conditions often is happening outdoors. I think there's something special about being outdoors. In a very literal sense, we don't have walls surrounding us when we're outdoors. When we are inside, there are four walls that we are contained in. It almost feels like a cage at times. But when we go outside, we are free. So in a figurative sense, I believe that being free of walls allows us to see more things. Walls can be blinders at times when they're in front of us and when they're around us. But if we are outdoors, we are away from walls. So to participate in therapy outdoors, we might notice things. We might notice the trees, we might notice the sky, we might notice the wind. And all of these things that we notice, we can connect those things to who we are as communicators. For example, we might notice how strong those trees are standing. And we might be able to talk about that. We might be able to ask, how do you stand when you're communicating? Are you standing strong like a tree? If not, describe how you're standing. And this starts the conversation about being self-aware during the moments of living and communicating. And conversations like this can be quite transformative.
Is this where the name of camp comes from? Shut out? Like go out?
Yes, to go outside and to shout, because your voice is powerful. When we shout, very strong feelings come, I think, from our body.
Yeah, great. Thank you. It's time to finish our conversation. It was an informative interview, and I would like to thank you on my behalf and all viewers. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Nie ma problemu. Dziękuję bardzo. Bardzo dziękuję.
Dziękuję również.